So we'll start with the location. Again, it's button half before. Yes, today is 5th November. So let's continue with the location box again, and I'll open this. So what we did, we created the add one yesterday, add file, and we have the location box is another component where I call the autocomplete and UUID v4. UUID is a package, and it gives a v4, and I rename it to UUID v4. I get option, title, value, on and select from the previous component as a props. I display the title if it is available, and if it is not available, I display the if it is not available, I don't display it, and then I display the autocomplete. This is the utility which we downloaded it, and here I give the class name, and I give the ID because I showed you yesterday that there were two boxes coming when I tried to put the city name or the area. So initially I pass the default value whichever to be displayed on the box, and type will be of two types, this option or this option. When user will select the place, I go to this console.log, and here I have to do some manipulation, and after manipulation I have to return it back to this add one in the handle location select, so that I can save it in the form of name and input. That is what we did yesterday. Let's do this manipulation here, this part now, and after the manipulation we will return it this function with the name and value, and which I will save it in the form. I have two location boxes just to show you, but when I try to submit it in the database, I'll delete one because I don't need two. In any case, mostly only one is required. But if you need two also, you can use 2, 3, any number of it. Let's do this manipulation, which I am doing it here. I am just opening first to see we are coming here and what things are coming in the place. So I get address component where I can get street number, street name, city name, county name, that is district, state name, country name, and the zip code. Then I also get geometry. In the geometry I get the latitude and the longitude. These three things, these seven things are needed, and this latitude longitude is required. So these items are needed for our purpose. Okay. So if I show you, there is also formatted address. That is the address which I really put here. So this is the formatted address. And if I don't get this formatted address, that means I'm not getting any valid value, and I should return some error. So first thing I need to check if formatted address is there or not. So if I say if not place dot formatted address, if formatted address is not there, that means something is wrong. I can give some alert, window.alert, please choose the address, something, any message you can give, and then I will return it. I don't want to go below it. Now I will create one object. This object is called component form, and here I will mention whether I want to take the long name or short name. Now what is long name and short name? If I put the address, so if I put the address, you will see I have the long name and the short name. In this case it is same. In this case it is which street, and here it is small. So based on what you want to save in database, the long one or short one, you can take that one. Here it is same. Here it is we have neighborhood also. Okay. One second, let me note down. Okay, what things we have? One is neighborhood. I'm just noting down what things I have. Here is the street number. And here I have route. Then let's say what we have. Locality. Locality is nothing but city. So locality is nothing but city. And we have long name, short name. And here we have county, that is district or county. It is called administrative area level 2. It is for county. Then we have administrative level 1. Here also you can choose whether you want short name or long name. Then I have country. Here also you can choose long name or short name. Then I have a postal code, which is same in both the cases. It doesn't matter. And then we have postal code suffix. So someone is saying I'm not able to, he's not able to listen to me. Am I audible? Just put yes or no in the chat. Am I audible? Okay, so it is yes. Let me write to him. Okay, so I have to save all this information, and we have more latitude and longitude also. Let's take one more address and see what things are coming. Okay, I changed the address. Now I did not get here in neighborhood here. So sometime I'm getting neighborhood and sometime I'm not getting neighborhood. So whenever I get neighborhood, I want to save it, and if I don't get neighborhood, I will not save it. So depending on what I'm getting or not, we will save it or not save it. So let's try to put this in this component form. So first thing we get is the street number. So let me write down Okay, let me copy this. It will be easy. I'll copy all this one. So I'll copy here all. Put comma. So for street number, I want short name or long name. In both cases it comes same. So I'll choose anything. Let's choose the short name for the street number. For routing, I'll choose the long name. Okay, and so for neighborhood, let's choose the long name. For locality, let's choose. First, I'll put it in everywhere short name and then rename it. So it is my preference which I am putting it. You can choose your preference. Whatever I like, I'm putting long name or short name based on my preference. And so long name or short name, it is up to you what you want to do it. So for administrator level 1 and 2, I will put short name. For country, I'll put short name. For postal code, I'll put short name because both are same. Country, I don't want to put full United States. I want just US. Administrator area level 2. For level 2, that is the county, I want full one. State, I want short name. Locality, city, that is city, I want long name. Neighborhood, long name. Route is long name. Street number is short name. So this is my preference. You can choose whatever you want. You can do. So this is something, the configuration part, which I will be taking it. I will also create one object. I can put constant here. I'll also put object, and this object will be something which I will return it. So this object will have the data which I will be returning it. So this object has initial value like object dot formatted address. This formatted address is something we directly get from this one, place dot formatted address. And let's put object dot latitude. Latitude will come. Where is latitude? Let's take where is latitude. So I get the geometry. Inside geometry I get location. Inside location I get the latitude, and latitude is a function. Longitude is also a function. So we have to take this path to get the latitude and longitude. So I will say latitude is equal to place dot geometry dot location dot latitude in the function format. That is, we have to execute the function. Object dot longitude is equal to place dot geometry dot location dot lng. This is the longitude one. So these three things are fixed location. Then they don't have the long name and short name, so I just took it directly. Now we have to loop through. Now we have to we have to loop through this component form, and we have to check whether street number is in the place or not, route is in the place or not. If the street number is in the place, I will take the short name. If it is not there, I'll just put the empty value. If route is in the place, I will take the long name, and rest I will put empty value. So let's loop through it. So either I loop through this one component form, or I loop through the place and then mix these two things. Okay, either way I can loop through this one or I can loop through the place one. I can show you both the ways, but let's do one way now. First, let's see what is coming in the place for the address component. So in the place, I get address component. So I can loop through this address component, and in each case I check if it is, what is the type is there, and whether long name or short name, which one I want, and then I can save it. So let's loop through this address component. So just to remember, in each array item, we have long name, we have short name, and we have the types. And in the types, we are concerned with the first type, that is the 0th number. In this case, I am concerned with the 0th number, that is out. In this case, 2 are coming. I am not concerned with the political. I am only concerned with the 0th level, that is locality. In the third case, I am concerned with this part, not this political part. Okay, so this is the one I will be dividing my looping. So let's loop through. So to loop, I will use for loop. I will say let I equal to 0, and I will go till I less than place dot. You saw address component. We are looking for address component dot length I plus plus. Now here I have to take what I am trying to say, whether I am trying to say street number, I want to say route, I want to say neighborhood, I want to say locality, what I want to save it. One second. So if I see, so if I see here I get types, and in the types 0th level, based on this I will put this in some variable. To put it in the variable, I can say address component place dot address component dot 0 dot types dot 0. That is what I will going to save it. Okay, so I will take first what is the type. So I will say let address type. Here I want whether it is, I am trying to save street number, route, neighborhood, locality, what I want to save it. So here I want to say place dot address components, that is this address component, and in that I will get loop, that is this I, and in the I we go to the types. I showed you we get short name, we get long name, and we get types. And in the types, we are only concerned with the 0th level type. So I go to place, then I go to address component, and the first one, because this is the first one initially, and that type 0. And what will be the address type? It will be either of street number, route, neighborhood, locality, and whatever is there, it will be there. So I am just concerned with this street number now. So initially it will be street number, and I will try to save the street number in this object, which I have in my object. So first I have to see whether this address type is in my in my configuration. So I can say if not component form dot component form, and I have to start with the rectangular bracket, and I will put address type. If it is not there, that means if the address type is not one of this format, or one of the street number or route or neighborhood or locality or this or this or this or this, if it does not consist any of this name, then I don't want to put it in my object. Let's say sometime tomorrow, instead of route, something else is coming, for example, apartment number. And here I don't have apartment number to save. Then I don't want to take it. I don't want to go through it. Since I did not want apartment number, though it is not coming, if it would have come, I would have taken it. But let's say I don't want that. Let's say I don't want to, for example, postal suffix. I will delete this. And even though if it is coming, I don't want it. So if it is not in one of my configuration, I don't want to continue. So I will just say continue. Continue means go to the another item in the loop. So if address type is one of this type, then only I want to continue. If it is not, then I want to go to another one. This is something checking. Now I will take the value. What is the value for this? So I will put constant value equal to. So value will be located here in the place.address component. Place.address component. And here it will be the long name or short name. Here it will be long name or short name. So it will be the inside the place. Inside the place we have address component, and I'm going to the first item of the address component, and here I want to take the long name or short name. So based on configuration, I will take long name or short name. So let's put here something constant key equal to. So key will be component form, and inside the component form address type. Okay, let me put this inside console.log so you can check. So what I'm doing, component form and the address type. Address type is let's say for example street number, and I put component form address type. That is component form of street number. That will be the short name. So I want to take in the value I want to take the short name. Okay, so that is what I mean to create the key. So if I put address, so I is 0, at the first level I is 0, address type is street number, and key is short name. So for the address type street number I am taking short name, for address type route I am taking long name, for address type locality I am taking long name, for address type administrative area 2 I am taking the long name. So if I want to create a variable, I will say place.address component dot street name dot 0, and in 0 if I want to take long name or short name based on my key. So I'll just take the, if it is too complicated for you to understand, don't worry, just copy and paste and make this component ready. You do not have to worry how it is built. I just am explaining how it is built, but ultimate thing is you need this object which has to be returned. Okay, so this I will get the value based on the long name or short name, and I will put that value in my object. So my object will be, I have to take this address type equal to this value. So this address type will be a street number and the value will be whatever it is, 199. After for loop, I'll do the console.log object is. So if you want to understand, you can go through multiple times and then what I'm getting it. 1 second. Okay, so I'm getting a call here in okay, so this part is really simple, but you have to go multiple times to understand what I'm doing. I have to do console.log in each case to understand what part we are key, what is the key coming, what is the value coming, and how we are trying to save it. So though I have explained it, it will look little complicated because there are a lot of inside there, and what lot of dynamic keys are there. So if you feel too complicated and if you don't have time, just loop through it and just get this object correct. So main purpose is you should get this object correct. It should be as I will be showing you. So once object is correct, then it's fine. No one will going to ask you in the interview this thing, and no one is going to check if this is how it is written. They are only concerned. I mean, you will be only concerned when you build your website. You should be only concerned if object is coming correctly or not. So even though if you copy my code from here till here, then also it's fine. And no need to really think on how it is created. I just explained to those people who were really interested in understanding what's going on. Okay, so don't worry about the exact mechanism how it is built. Okay, let's go now to see what is the object looks like. Okay, so this is a place coming, and this is the object I built. In the object, you'll see I have state as a California, county as San Francisco County, country is this, formatted address is this, latitude is this, longitude is this, locality is San Francisco, locality is nothing but the city, neighborhood is Marina District, postal code is there, postal code suffix is there, route is there. When we go with the real projects, I only need a formatted address to show something. I need the latitude and longitude to find the distance and maybe sometime postal code. Rest all other things are only for display purpose. They don't have real meaning. I don't like this administrator level 1 or 2. I want it to be state and the county and city. So I will rename these three parts to different name. So here I will say after value I'll say if address type is equal to locality. I change the address type to city. So whenever I see locality, address type locality, I will rename it to city. Same thing with administrative level 1. If I see something administrative level 1, I will change it to state. And same thing, if I get administrative level 2, I will change it to county. Now if we'll check our code, I'll get city, country, county, formatted address, latitude, longitude, neighborhood, postal code, postal office, route, state, and street number. So we are concerned with now city, country, county, and all this thing is coming. And in practical world, we are concerned with this formatted address, latitude, longitude, and sometimes postal code, or in some cases, people try to find distance based on the zip code. So we may need zip code also if required. So that is what we needed. Now we are done with this creation of the object. So when you build it, try to make that your object should have this format. And you may not get neighborhood all the time. You may not get postal code all the time. You may not get route all the time. You may not get street number all the time. For example, if I only put Foster City, for example, you will see that I have city, country, county, format address, latitude, longitude, and state. I don't have street number, neighborhood, and any other thing because I'm only looking for the city. I get only this information. I don't get other information. So let's now I have to return this object to my parent one, that is in the add one. And to return in the add one, I will just say on handle select. So I will call this on handle select, and I'll just pass object, this object. I don't need console.log now. I'll remove it. I don't need console.log here now. I'll remove it. So this is a formatting of the place in my way, and ultimately I'm returning in the handle select. And handle select will go into the add one, and here it will save in my state variable form values. Now let's check that. So here I'll say, so if you see form values has the location 2, and in the location 2 I have all the information which I got from the previous one. And in the city I'll say San Francisco, and in the form values I will get location with the San Francisco city and latitude, longitude, all these things are coming. Now the part will come to save this information in the database. Now we will work on that part. So this part is done. Location box is done. We are done with the location box. Still there is one thing pending which I showed you on that day, that when I do the close cross icon, I should be able to empty this, because sometimes the user has put too big name not here. So user has put so much. If he has to delete it, he has to go back like this and delete it. So I don't want to put so much energy to do it. I will put a cross button here, cross button. That part we will do in some time shortly. Let's first fix it in the database. Now we got this information. Now we have to save it in the database. Okay. So to save it in the database, I'll go to the add one. So here is something I have to save it in the database. So one thing, I will create one variable and I will put all this form value information, whatever we are getting, object, the complete object, that is this complete object. And we take this complete object and save it in this field. So one is for the location and one is for the location 2. I will name this as a testing location box, or location is fine, or location box. Let's make it location box. So I am putting it location and location 2, but we don't need, we also need few more things, not only this one. And this one will be saving, we are saving the whole information. Before I go with more, let's try to see what is saved in the database for this one. In practical world, we will only have the one box. So, but right now I'm just experimenting with 2. Both are showing same name. Why? When I put here, this is also updating. So something code is copied. So let me, one second, let me, I think, okay, so I put location here same. That is the reason I'm getting problem. Okay, I'll change it to, let me put North San Francisco, and here I'll put okay. So I have form value this 2. Let's click the submit button and see what is there in the database. So we have the location box. In the location box, you will see the location and to our object, and we get complete information which we have in the object. And here also we have the complete information. We have complete information what user has put in the field. Let's try to add more few fields, because if I want to search by distance, that is how much this latitude is far away or how much this record is away from me, I need this latitude longitude somewhere outside in the field, not inside this. If I put inside this, I won't get that utility. So let's do some more modification in the code. So in addition to this, I will be saving some for more information. First information I will put is post.set. I will say location underscore geo, and some value will become here. I'm right now just putting 1. Same thing I'll do with the 2, location underscore geo underscore 2. So I have to put something here, geo. Geo will be some point which will have latitude and longitude. And how to construct the geo? To construct the geo, I have to use the parse utility, and parse utility is new parse.geoPoint. This is a function, and inside function I will have object, and this object will have first field as latitude, and latitude I will take form values dot location dot latitude, and second will be longitude. Longitude will be form values dot location dot longitude. So we have inside the location, we already have latitude and longitude, just we are passing it in the object format for latitude key and longitude key as a new geo point. And I will copy this part for the location 2. So I will name it location geo underscore 2. So generally it is good. You should have only one location point in the database in one table. So if I have two, that it is fine for testing now, but in real purpose it will be creating a problem. You should have only one field, because generally that item is located at only one geo point. So I'll delete one column. I'll work only with the one column now. So let's work only in the one column, because two is impractical. We don't need two. So let me delete the two part. We should have only one. I just showed you two for your display purpose, but you know, when we will do large project, large application, two will really cause the problem. We should not put two, because he has to calculate the geolocation, so they need only one. So we have to do a lot of calculation. They may not be able to on two fields, so we will put only one field. So we can put it and test it. Maybe it will work fine, but right now for understanding and for our project purpose, we need only one. I'm just saying making two makes things little complex, and I'm not sure if parse will be able to do it, but we can test it. Maybe they can handle it more geo also. That's not needed for our case. If we need it, then we can try. So for that, I have location geo, which is nothing but the geo format. So these two things I needed. I will also put the postal code outside, because I told you the postal code is something we will also play with, not now, but if we need. Or for now, let's don't put it. These 2 points is fine. Okay, we don't need any other thing to display purpose, so it's fine. These 2 things is fine. Let's try to add it now. So I'll put 1999 Beach Street, San Francisco. I'll add it, and then I refresh it. So you will see I will get the location or complete location here, but I'll also get this location geo, and this geo is latitude and longitude, and the type is geo point. Whenever we add a column, we have different types, and one of the type is geo point, and that is what that point is mean. And based on this field, I will be able to sort this record, that is how far is this record from my location. So that is the purpose of this field. But if I want to display any information to the user, I can display information from this location field. So I have the 2 fields. One is the location one, where I have the complete object, and then I have the geo location geo point. This point is only used to track how far is this record or is this business from my location, and that is the reason I put this location geo. So this is all about how we save it in the database, and this is all on how we display the location box to the user. The last thing which is remaining is little formatting on the location box, which I will do it now. So first formatting which I will display is, which I'll do is, I'll put some styling on this title. I'll say style equal to font weight, bold, and here is title only. Okay, so I put the font weight bold in the label. Okay, 1 second. Next thing is I want the cross icon. You know, I showed you the cross icon, that icon which will be displayed when user will click when user will put the field name. I need, for example, when I type something, I need this cross icon here, so that when I click that cross icon, I should be able to empty this content. That part I want to do. So I will do that part now. So after our autocomplete, wrapping this autocomplete, I have this div, and this div has position relative. If you don't put this position relative, the part which I am showing you will not work. So we have to put this relative position above this autocomplete. I can take this title out if I want, but I should put this autocomplete inside this div, and this div should have this relative position. But now it's fine for this being here. I will manipulate this one, and then I will also show you if I put this title out, how to manipulate it. But let's keep this title here. If in future this title is creating the problem in positioning, then we'll keep this title out and we'll work only with this one. So inside this div, I will create a button, and this button should have type of button, and I will give some styling to it. Right now I'll just put color, but right now I'll give some font size. Then I'll add more also in future. For example, 24 pixel. And this button should have a span, and I put some code for that cross. Let's see how it looks now. So this is the cross button. This comes due to this end time. This is converted into the HTML, and we get the cross icon. And so now let's put some styling on this one. Since both are kind of different HTML layout, so you see it here. I want it inside this text box. So in the button, I already have the font size. I will add more styling. So first thing I'll say background as a transparent. Once I say transparent, it will take whatever background white is there. So it will take white, yellow is there. It will take white, yellow. I don't want border, so I'll say border none. I want position. Position should be absolute here. So previously I put the position of relative on top of that div, and now I'm putting position of absolute. And I'll say right side should be 10 pixel. So from the right side it is 10 pixel here. And from the top I want, let's try with 10 pixel. It's going 2 up. So let's increase this to adjust our position. Okay, so 30 pixel is fine. Okay, so we got this button inside this text box. So let's try to put this information in our style. 1 second. So one is the font size, and then I'll say position absolute. I'll say top of 30 pixel, right side of 10 pixel, which we just now saw, background of transparent, border of none. So we have this information. Now let's check that one. Right now it is coming always in even if we have put this information or not, that we will fix it. So I'll say okay, so this address is different with this cross one. So when I click the cross one, this whatever address I put here, it should go away. So that part we have to do. Here I have created few variables which I get from the props. I will add few more variables. First variable I will add constant. Let's say I name O and set O. This is just O, just a name. And I'll say react.useState, and let's put it null now. I will also create another variable called as location reference. This will be react.useReference, and initially it will be null. And I will assign this reference, location reference, to my this autocomplete. So here I can say ref equal to location ref. Now this autocomplete is attached to my reference, and I can manipulate this autocomplete with this reference. So whenever I select the place, that is whenever we select the place, I will update this set O with that formatted address. So in addition to on handle select, I will also say set O equal to object dot formatted address. That is, something is selected. I am just setting whatever is selected in this O. So let's see what O is after. Okay, let's take what is O coming. Now what I'm trying to do exactly is, I want to show this whenever someone types something in it. Initially O is null. So when O is null, I don't want to show this cross button. because nothing is typed in this field. Whenever I put the address, let's say I put some address, you will see the O value becomes the San Francisco, whatever I have put it here. And at that time only I want to show this cross button. So I created this O, and I'm setting the O when someone is selecting this place. So what I'll do now, I will show this button only when O is here. So I will say O and I will show this button only when we have something in the O. And when when the O will have something, when user will select the place, I will update the set O to that formatted address. So whenever user select the places, O will be updated with this value and button will be visible. So now button is not there, but as soon as I put address, you will see button is coming here. But when I click on the button, nothing will happen because I haven't written a code to do anything. Now what I want, when I click the button, this should get empty. I don't want this to be there. So let's do that part now. So when I click the button, here I'll say on click. So what I want to do on click, I'll call a function. And in this function, I want to make this on handle select to be empty object, so that it should not have any value. Or I can make it I don't want to make it null now because it may give some error in the future. I have object, and to handle the object I will make it this as object, and I will also make this O to null so that the button should go away. So whenever user will click, the button, this cross, the handle select, that is this part, will return empty object and set O will be null. Since I am expecting this empty object, it's better in the add initial value I should put as an empty object. Rather than location, I will put empty object. Now let's take it, test it. So I'll put, okay, so I got this button. Now when I click the button is gone. For location is also empty now. Button is gone because O become null. But this is still there. It does not empty this part. So to empty this part, we have created this. We have created this location hrefs. Based on this location hrefs, I will empty the content of this autocomplete. So how to do that? Just see it here. Let me see what is there in the location href when I click the button. For now, I will just comment these two things because I don't want to empty it till I finish this coding. Just I want to see what is there in the location href. Let's take this. Okay, now if I click button, you will see location href. And this location href has the current property, and in the current property we have the React Google autocomplete. So we get the current, inside that we get React Google autocomplete object, and that object has another ref, and in that ref I have the input box. This is what I wanted. if you remember, while teaching the React, I showed you directly we get information in the current one, location ref and in the current one. But here, since we are calling the third party component, we have to deal with this way. And inside React Google autocomplete, we have the reference, and inside reference we have the input tag. So this is where we are concerned with here in this case. Previously, when I was teaching React, we saw this whole thing was coming under the current, and I was able to manipulate using this current value. But in this case, we have to go to the location ref, inside that current, and inside that reference, and inside input. So here what I have to manipulate it, and inside this, if you see the value, this value is nothing but this one which you see here. So if I empty this value here, it will empty the value here. Okay, so let's do, and I can also call the focus method to focus the input to this field. So I have the focus also. Okay, input dot focus. You don't see here, but there is a focus method there. It may be calling using the set one. So there is another focus method. This on focus is different. Okay, so focus method is there, and I will show you that one also to focus my pointer here. So one is I have to empty this value, and I have to focus on this field. Let's do these two changes. So to access the location ref, I can say location ref dot current dot reference dot input dot value equal to empty. I empty this value, and I will say location ref dot current dot ref dot input dot focus. This focus will make my pointer there, and I will update this also now. So this will update the empty object in the parent one, that is in the add one. Since we are not using form, I'll delete this form here. And set-o will be null. If set-o is null, I will not show this button. So let's refresh and test it now. So initially O is there, and I see the button. Now if I click button, focus is gone to this field. This is empty. Form values are null, and O is null. Again, if I put anything, I get O value, and I get location with whatever value is there. Once I click this is gone, and my text is located here. So this is how we complete this location box.